Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio right here in Matawan, New Jersey. Your host, of course, Sturch, Gooch over there, producer Dina, and our intern Anthony came back for a second day. He did not quit, so that's like awesome, right? Like if we got you past the first day, you're in for life, bro. Even when the internship's over, you'd be like, screw school. I'm not finishing. I'm staying right here at Chop. It happens to everybody. It happens to the best of us.
Shout out to Anthony having to edit Tommy D's blog.
We'll get it. Yeah, I was going to say we can get into that
as we record this.
While we're recording this and live right now from the studio and we're putting on a new show, we got Anthony over here. I said, look, here, we did get a new blog submitted by Tommy D, and Tommy D is a very knowledgeable UFC fan. What's up, Danny? A very knowledgeable UFC fan, right? And he knows his stuff. And I said, the context is there. All his thoughts are on paper. The only problem is Tommy D doesn't seem to have an education. So that, he's in there dissecting this thing right now, like open heart surgery, just trying to get your grammar to be correct, Tommy. You are an absolute buffoon. But appreciate you coming on as one of the bloggers and to boot the UFC, the Chop Heads Combat Sports podcast will be jumping.
Use this to transition into that.
Yes,
right.
That'll be like the kickoff thing to basically get everybody going for UFC, MMA, boxing, pro wrestling, you name it, we got it. Now I sound like the Craig and Janine commercial for Absolute Eyewear. They name it, they got it. All that.
So hopefully by next weekend's UFC main event,
it'll
be the first pay-per-view of the year.
Yeah,
we'll have something out there. We'll have some MMA content out there because it's
been
a long time.
For sure, absolutely. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in right now. If you are tuning in, please be sure to subscribe and also hit the like button. That helps us out, helps us with the searches, helps us override, popular content creators like Kyle Curbs. One day we'll take him over somehow, some way. Or we could be other Facebook groups that try to take other people over.
Shout out to Kyle Curbs. I typed in I think Kyle ranks on Chop Sports higher than Chop Sports does. So if you type in Chop Sports on YouTube,
Kyle's video come up.
We're the first page that comes up, but Kyle's next. So
because we're partners, we're in this together. We all got one big happy Chop family. We're all going to go out to Vegas together for the draft. And when we say draft, we mean actually Toast's wedding. So we'll see him do is he getting married at like the Elvis Chapel or something like that? Is that what's happening?
I don't know. I need to look at the invitation.
I didn't get an invite. I got an invite via direct message, which is fantastic, by the way.
I'll make copies.
I think what it comes down to with Toast is it really just comes down to a gambling situation. He wants to be married in Vegas because he's really married to the grind.
To the game. He's married to the game.
And I don't think it's any coincidence the weekend that he chose.
Yeah, draft weekend.
Oh my God. Well, you know what? At least he's not like one of these like asshats that decide to get married on like a football Sunday. Like those people, you deserve to just get divorced within. I want your marriage annulled. Like the people that get married on a football Sunday in the fall.
I'm not
come
going.
to think of it. Come to think of it, my father got married on a football Sunday in the fall, so I annul that thought. But we did get home. See, he's smart.
If the Packers are playing Monday night, then it's all good.
Yeah, but I'm saying my dad got married in 2009, and the Cowboys played at 4:00. So the wedding was actually I think like 12 to 3:30 or 4:00. We got home like. My bonus mom was taking out her hair extensions while the Broncos were beating our ass. So I think it was like just a terrible end of the day. Great historic day in history. But anyway, I agree with Ashley as she comes in and as she does every day, reminds Gooch of how cute he looks. I usually get texts on the side that I look decent on camera. So not public, but I do like the public displays of affection. It does.
I'm about to start getting Airbnb sent to me for draft weekend in Vegas because Ash is like, wait, when's this wedding? What weekend? I'm invited too, right? Yes, of course, Ash, you are invited.
Oh my God.
You get the +1. I don't know. I think it's April.
It's the last week of April.
Yeah.
I'll be hopefully my legs will still be attached to my body. I think it's the week I'm going to Disney World the week before that with like just I can't even imagine what that's going to be like. But anyway, lots to talk about today. In specific, the NFL season is obviously comes and goes in the regular season. But before I get into all that, I have to take care of business first. If you're watching this video, we've already talked about subscribing to the channel, liking the video. But if you want to support Chop Sports and everything that we do here on the day-to-day, the grind, if you watched our story yesterday, we're rebuilding the set. We're getting a desk. We're doing the best we can right now to improve the looks of the show. But $3 a month gets you general support. Patreon.com/Chop Sports. So do us a favor. Help us out with that. And like I said, there's more tiers to that. And if you become a Dynasty member, you also will get an invite.
And shout out to all the guys that I owe the $25 gift card to. I did make them. I did say this, that they would be out on Monday, but time got away. So they will be
That's
out
fine.
today.
Yeah,
this afternoon, check your emails.
Hoodies aren't going anywhere. We have plenty of cool things in stock. And like I was trying to say before, if you're a Dynasty member, you too also get an invite to Toast Wedding. So like that all, it's all included in
I
Dynasty
also have to get a creative way to
invite people to Toast Wedding.
No. Well, that too, but I
Taking over
have to get a
Vegas.
creative way to get these coupon codes as to where I don't have to make a billion of them because it's very tedious. And I hate
they'll have to be like exclusives. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It'll be like a mass.
I think that there's a way that I
like
could do one code and just make it one per customer, but I have to go in there and actually like find the customer. So it has to be somebody that's a returning customer, which I think most of our Patreon members are.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least somebody that
We've seen them all sign up. So I believe we're at like 28 right now. So again, it's a great deal. We just launched it about a week and a half ago. So we do appreciate those that are already contributing to the cause. We appreciate you greatly. Anyway, so now yesterday or 2 days ago, me and Gooch decided we're going to do some NFL end of season awards because that's exactly what it's time for. Because typically the NFL does this and announces these awards. What are we laughing
We
at?
got TJ Watt as a stat padding scrub.
Oh, okay, cool.
At a Mr. Kerms.
Oh, we missed that one, but we'll get into TJ Watt as we get into the NFL end of season awards. Now, the way we did this, the NFL awards are going to be releasing their stuff the night before the Super Bowl. That's how they do their end of year stuff. We're going to do things right here on a random ass Wednesday, right before Wild Card Weekend, because once you start seeing, and this is a good point, once you start seeing guys play in the playoffs, it hinders your vote a little bit, even though it's not supposed to. It does. So if somebody has a really abysmal wild card game, you're going to be like, I put that guy as a comeback player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or something.
I'm curious, when do the voters vote, actually?
The voters are done. Like that vote, the votes are done.
All right.
Yeah. So the votes are done because they can't be influenced by any playoff appearances. So that's done. They announce all the winners the night before the Super Bowl. Christina. Hi, guys. First time caller, long time listener. Was just wondering what else you guys think talk about besides sports. Just kidding. Love you, Dave. Here to sport. That is my sister-in-law. So that is Danny's wife who is chiming in. Hello.
Christina.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to
I think that
Christina.
she's co-signed a couple of my points via Danny. Danny would be like, "Oh, Christina agrees." So I know she'll a listener.
She'll come out of nowhere and just be like me and Danny will be talking, and she'll come out of left field like, "Yep, I agree." And I'm just like, "What?" It's great.
Wait, is she a Niner fan?
She's a Cowboys fan.
So
she has to be vicariously. It's now in your blood. Like once you're in the family, you're a Cowboys fan. If you had any prior engagements to any other fanhood,
I was just trying to start
the
some beef there. Asked if she's a Niners fan.
No.
Imagine?
Oh, no. Actually, it's funny. Dress dropped, and I forgot to promote it because we've been doing. I got here early and forgot all about it. But there's a brand new All About the Star podcast. I sit down with my boy Hugo Boy, who might be dishing up some new music for us. He's a producer and a musician, and he loves the rap game. And him and Gooch will probably get along and be best friends. But so we were talking about that. His brother is a 49ers fan. So much like you, like if the Packers play the Niners, you and your brother just clash heads. We don't have that problem in the Sturch house. Everybody's on one
Carl
uniform.
Is like low key.
Say what?
Fan. Low key. I think Carl deep down likes Green Bay, but he's just too stubborn to admit it at this point.
Did you see his garbage meme that he posted last night? Garbage.
I think it was a successful meme because
Why is it when it's not true and it's like not funny because it's not like
but
there's
here's
no relevance
Here's
to
the
it.
thing. If you have to take it from the source, if you think it's a person that actually believes these things, or if he's just trying
That's
to
the thing. You never know with this guy. I honestly think sometimes he believes his own bullshit. And I don't know if he believes this
if he's sitting here and he's like glorifying Jimmy G in any way.
For 20 touchdown seasons. 20. He glorified him for multiple 20 touchdown seasons.
I think what that's doing is more or less highlighting that Aikman could be one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the NFL history.
You're high. He's a Hall of Famer.
I don't think that. And I don't think Carl thinks that. No, I just think that it's kind of painting the picture about how the NFL has changed more so than anything.
In any event, garbage meme, but appreciate the content as always on Chop Sports. I mean, there are other Facebook groups now that you can join and throw on whatever you want. But there's Chop Sports. We thank you guys for being loyal, sticking with us here. But anyway, so going into the awards, here's how we did it. A couple days ago, we determined we were going to do this. The winners of these awards will be getting $25 gift cards sent to their DMs, whether they use them or
Just
not.
have to wait a couple weeks because it's very tedious, and I hate making these goddamn coupon codes.
So when you, but I guarantee you, whoever wins MVP, which wink, wink, we'll find out in a little bit, they'll be getting a gift card like that.
I got a shirt made for him. It says immunized in green and yellow.
That's really funny. Did you do that? Because that would be
it's
really
in there.
fun.
I didn't order it for myself yet, but I shouldn't have given it away. That'll be my. I'll
Man,
debut that.
I was going to say you got to debut
that'll be
that.
the MVP shirt when he wins.
Okay, when he wins MVP, debut that shirt. But in any event, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. No, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe right now. Like the video as you're watching this. So here's how it went down. So Monday we decided we're going to do this. I came up with a panel, right? A panel of experts, we'll call them. Okay, the panel consists of myself, Gooch, former intern here and now editor for The Sauce, AJ Bascone, the Toast, who's going to be the happily married man in a couple months, right? Kyle Kerms, which you can find all his VIP bets up 0.75 units yesterday. We did all right with the NBA. I rode with The Sauce on that one. Definitely was in the green, so that works. And 0.75 units.
I think
me,
Toast had
yes,
a nice day
$7.50
on college
up,
basketball.
Like,
How did Toasty do on college?
I
think he did well.
I do not know.
The picks that he gave on the show yesterday were good.
Yeah, they hit. But in any event, Kyle's on the panel, and also Scoop, who's one of our best buddies here at the network, and obviously he's done so much for. He's worked with the
Scoop
MMA
is a
show.
day one for sure.
Scoop was in it. So 6 guys voted on these awards. And again, this is how we did it. So a point system. I made sure that everybody ranked 1 through 3. And whoever your first rank guy was got 3 points, second rank got 2, third rank got 1. We add all the points together and you get yourself a winner of that award. So there was a lot of Kyle's Toast was up about 1.1 units on college basketball, and NHL was green. You hear that? Hey, Anthony, we might need you, bro. We might need you to start with your
NHL
intel.
guys,
Your intern, the intel that you have with the NHL might be very beneficial to some of the Sauce Network people that are looking for ways to make money in the NHL.
Want to hear something corny as hell?
Oh, no. What happened? Breaking news? What am I
Eric
missing?
Waddle unretires for playoffs and will join Rams. I mean, who cares?
Eric Waddle?
Yeah, wasn't he the bearded Charger?
Oh, my God. Is that? Well, where's my phone?
That's
Right,
definitely a
right.
thing. I don't think it really matters. What's he
God.
going to do? Play special teams? Come on.
Where's my
He hasn't-
glasses?
he
I
They're
love
on your
Eric
head.
Waddle. He was one of my favorites.
He's retired, and he's just joining a playoff team. I think that there's got to be a rule made against this. You can't just unretire week 1 of the NFL
It's like
playoffs.
filing, and it's got to be I don't know.
Either
but
way,
I loved Waddle.
I
But
can't wait to see him get cooked by Devontae.
He's not going to get
deep
any
over the
playing
middle.
time. I mean, I can't imagine him going on the field.
I can't imagine them signing him if they didn't
See, I think that's
anticipate playing him, because
Yeah,
they're going to
right.
lose a roster spot. So it's going to be he's got to play special teams. If you're going to sign a guy at safety and he's not going to play special teams, he better play. You agree?
yeah, but I just don't think he's going to sign. So whatever you're reading, I think it might be a little bit of a fake news scheme.
What did I say? Did I not say Eric Waddle?
Eric Weddle. It's Weddle, not Waddle.
Weddle.
I
Oh,
knew that
shut
already
up.
too, but it's okay. But don't worry,
bearded-
Kyle's going to correct you in the comments at all times. But in any event, so that's how we did it. We all 6 of us put our votes in for our ranking system of 1 to 3. Here are the award. What?
I'm just making fun of Kyle because he didn't correct me. He asked and then Googled and then laughed at me. So you didn't know either. Shut up.
You guys, first of all, what not a mistake. I think it's hilarious. Yesterday, I reminded the fellas. I said, "Hey guys, listen, you got to get your votes in so I can tally this up."
Unbelievable.
Then I fell asleep for like an hour. Came back, saw the chat that you guys went off on each other. Like that was scrollable. Like you kept going and going and going.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't catch up to this. I have no idea what they're even talking about. So I had to do with a lot of the defensive player of the year stuff. We'll get into that in a little bit. Actually, AJ was the one that knew. Oh, all right. So AJ's probably sitting right next to him. So we're down a viewer. AJ, log on anyway, please, and like the video. Thank you very much. But in any event, that's how we did it. The point system. We did the awards. We did this: offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, MVP, coach of the year, and comeback player of the year. So again, those are the awards that you pretty much give out at the NFL awards ceremony. The only other ones I believe are like Walter Payton Man of the Year, and then like Game of the Year and Team of the Year and all the other shit. But those are the ones we did. Now, I will say this: be on the lookout, because when we get to a certain category, we have ourselves a tie. we're going to need you, the viewer, to vote. And we're going to take it to 5 votes.
It's amazing the category that ended up the tie because
Right. So we'll get
sure everyone knows where we're going with this. That
There's
was
no,
in
no,
that
no,
chat
maybe
yesterday.
not. Maybe
no,
not.
the
Oh,
chat.
okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to take the first 5 comments and put them and apply them to the vote. So that'll separate and that will crown a winner. So we'll get that in a second. Replaces Jordan Fuller. Would make a great coach.
So basically anybody that McVay co-signs for right now gets a head coaching job within 6 months. So I guess Eric Waddle will be coaching Weddle. I'm calling him Waddle. Fuck everyone. I guess he'll be coaching. What team will he be coaching next year? The Giants, maybe? I mean, like somebody's hiring
You know what's
him.
so funny? Great to bring that up before we get into the awards is the fact that Joe Judge got fired.
Yes.
Literally after our show, after trashing him and saying like, ha ha, Giants fan, you're sticking with this clown. And now they listened to the people because you knew that was it. The uproar that the Giants fans came up with, the Maras and the Tishes of the world, those owners, that ownership, they had to have felt the heat. They had to have. There's no way they were about to be like,
I mean,
guys, how are we going to ever give away our free medium sodas?
When you're down points on 3rd and 9 and you line up in the victory formation in the 3rd quarter, I think that's a fireable offense. That's just as bad as Brandon Staley, but way worse.
But I'm saying like now it's unfortunate for guys like me who are Cowboys fans. Now there's going to be some new blood in the NFC East. And while I think Sirianni's a little bit of a jokester right now, I don't buy into his shtick yet, and that remains to be seen. He's a new coach, so whatever. Washington over there with Rivera. I'm just like whatever with that. Like that was a great story, good, but your team still stinks.
That's like, oh, what coach could we hire to make our team extremely average for the next decade?
Well,
Let's hire Ron
that,
Rivera.
I mean, look, like he is probably a culture changer. You know, as they go into the new Washington Commanders mode or whatever they decide to do, they do need somebody to kind of straighten and right the ship because that ownership is just awful. But like I said, as a Cowboys fan, you don't really want to see the Giants land a new head coach because it's going to be a splash. What I want for the Giants to do is to hire Jason Garrett. But that's just me. Like I think that like he'll definitely interview it. I don't think any of the Cowboys coordinators are up for this job.
You think that Jason Garrett's going to interview for the job that he was just basically fired from?
I think they're going to apologize and say you were the scapegoat.
Oof, no, that would be that would be even worse. There would be more egg on their face than there already is right now. There's a 0% chance you could just. I know that would be a nice story, and it's a pipe dream for most Cowboys fans because they know what Jason Garrett's about. That said, no way. I can't see it. You got to bring in somebody completely new.
What I think they're going to do is, and a lot of the
they got to bring in someone with experience.
Of course, yes. But now, do you think it's like freshly fired experience or like experience of being a coordinator? Do you think they go old school head coach, like who's like, for example, a Mike Zimmer or a Fangio who had only 1 year, really, or 2 years, really?
I think that they should.
Or do they go young boy coordinator?
Hire Jim Caldwell.
That's not a bad play. Jim Caldwell got a raw end of the deal.
Or someone like that. Yeah, somebody that maybe not freshly fired, but somebody that's looking to get back into coaching. I could see that happening. Or maybe, as much as I hate the guy, Jim Harbaugh, if he's really interested in coming to the NFL, I think the Giants' job and a chance to turn that organization around is a little more appealing than turning around an organization like Jacksonville.
Hawaii Mike making a point, though. Nothing about the Giants have done should make anyone not expect them to sign someone like Jason Garrett. They have really, like, the problem is this, and this actually it's not a problem for the Giants fans because new blood coming in. So whoever that coach is will also determine who their quarterback is going forward. So they're not linked and committed to Daniel Jones anymore. If you think about it, ownership might be, but the new GM might not. The new head coach might not. So
they're linked in terms of they owe him a lot of money. And not a lot of money. They owe him.
It was the 6th pick in the draft. So, he's got some nice cheddar.
But he's still on his rookie contract. So as far as quarterbacks go, he's not really owed a lot of money in terms of what you're paying a starting quarterback.
The salary numbers to these first picks when there was no rule. I believe the last one to stand out to me was like Sam Bradford. That boy made more money than God. And like his career sucked. But he was the first pick. And everybody paid him like that, or the Rams paid him like that, and that was just.
Was that before they had like the scale, the rookie scale?
That's what I said. The last one, I think
you're right.
Before the scale was Bradford.
Thank God for the Giants that they don't owe him the 6th overall pick money of 10 years ago.
See, all right,
it would be worse.
Here we go again. O+. And while I agree with you, right, Bill Cowher's name has been thrown out there for the last decade, and he's never taken a job. He loves his role at CBS. He's going nowhere. That's like when people were like, Romo should run the offense. No, Romo's getting paid $1 billion to be on CBS. He ain't going nowhere.
I also think
so when they're complacent in their jobs because they're making a shit ton of money, Bill
Cowher is a little disconnected. I think the game has changed a lot.
The game is definitely past
since you've seen a Bill Cowher coaching. And I'm not saying it's not possible. I just, like you said, there's a 0% chance that you're going to see him come off of whatever TV set that he's on these days.
He'll be coming in, the host of Till Mets Do Us Part, which, by the way, we'll be recording today with, yes, the legend known as Turk Wendell. I think he's an absolute psychopath, and I think he's a perfect guest for Till Mets Do Us Part. That drops tomorrow. Zero cap space, awful roster. Going to be tough for them to attract someone to being under the thumb of Mara. Insane how far the Giants fell as the model franchise. That is a very, very accurate and great take, because they used to be the staple to go and work in a professional
I'm just gonna say that
organization.
Jim Caldwell at once upon a time took a job in Detroit. So if you pay a guy a lot of money with the opportunity to turn things around and you make promises, it doesn't mean that the Giants will follow through on them, but the Giants will get their guy. Whether it's the right guy, that's another story, but any coach, unless there's another offer out there that's better, any coach is going to take that job. It's not like you got a guy like Dan Quinn turning down the Jaguars job. That makes sense.
He turned down the interview. Same thing.
Same thing. It's like saying, no, I'm good. I don't necessarily think that means that Dan Quinn has no interest in head coaching anymore. I just think that means that he knows there's going to be opportunities in some better places. Why put your name in that hat when you have things to take care of still in this season? It just didn't make sense. And he was right to do that.
Now that the Giants job is vacant, do you think that's it for firings? Or do you think there's still going to be a move made? Let's just say the Bengals blow the doors off the Raiders, and it was a feel-good story for greatness. And I know, Dina, she's mad.
I wouldn't say that that's a firing, though. He's just not.
It's
hired.
a removal.
He wouldn't be hired. No, he
wouldn't be hired, right?
Yeah, he wouldn't be brought back. And
Correct.
It's not because he was fired. He was never hired to be the head coach.
Toast in the building. You missed all your shout-outs. Be sure to rewind.
I think that there's a chance that you see a Pete Carroll be let go at some point. I just think it's a little more complicated being his tenure there and the success that he's had with that team. I think that there is a chance that there's a fractured relationship between the quarterback and the coach there, and it's going to go on behind closed doors, because as much as we like to make fun of Russ about being a dork, he does things the right way. He's not going to come out publicly and trash his coach, but I could imagine that there's some conversation going on behind closed doors where they need a new message. And it's not that I think Pete Carroll's a bad coach. I hate him, but I just think that the message runs dry, and running the football when you got DK and Lockett on the outside with a Pro Bowl quarterback or an all-pro caliber quarterback, I just think it's bad recipe
now
in this day.
I have to wonder. O Plus brings up another good point. The Cowboys won't allow Quinn to go interview. Listen, Quinn's going to take interviews wherever he thinks the jobs and the opportunities are good. He's going to go. That's just like, you take the interview for the experience. I said it already yesterday on one of my on the Cowboys roundtable on Blogging the Boys. I said the likelihood of those coordinators, both of them, Kellen Moore and Dan Quinn, leaving, Moore is more likely to leave, because I think if the Cowboys don't get it done, which Gooch doesn't seem to believe they will, and most of them, the world probably thinks that the Cowboys are going to either be one and done or just another tragic ending. If that's the case, then I think Quinn has the whole, meat on the bone and unfinished business and, working with the guys he's worked with this year. And Jerry Jones will definitely pay him lucratively to be possibly the next guy.
I think if Dan Quinn gets a shot at the Denver job, he's going to take it. Yeah. I think the defense is interesting in Denver. They have a pretty good defense. I'm not
saying rosters aren't loaded.
No, I just think that looking at the Denver situation, it's a nice place to coach. As a head coach and being in charge, that's an attractive thing for most coaches. I don't see, it's not like Dallas has had team success like the Patriots. I could understand if you've won multiple Super Bowls or you've even coming off a Super Bowl win, you want to run it back. Whereas you see with Josh McDaniels, goes back to New England or turns down the Colts job to stay with the Patriots. That I can see, because you're coaching under a legend and he's getting older, so you want to maybe take over. Do you really think that Mike McCarthy's on his way out anytime soon with the success that they've had?
I mean, look, if they kept Garrett for 10 years,
and the leash that they've had in the of recent memory, I don't know that they've really had a long leash all the time, but at least with Garrett, it kind of shows.
It took Garrett 4 seasons to get to 12 wins. It took McCarthy 1.
I understand. I think
I think there's something to be said about Mike McCarthy, and we'll get into Coach of the Year debate later. But
I think there's something to be said about roster in Dallas.
What the Cowboys had last year to what they have this year. It's an incredible turnaround, and now they're legitimate contenders. But I digress. We'll get into that in a little bit. A couple suggestions coming from the crowd. Kingsbury from Hawaii Mike saying that he takes round 1 exit, loses to the Rams, takes the NCAA job. And while I thought that was a thing, what's left?
I just don't think there's a college job.
That's what I'm saying. What's left?
For him to take?
There's nothing left to take, right? I mean, no, I don't think so. Off the top of my head, I can't think of a major school looking for a head coach still. But in any event,
maybe Michigan.
if Harbaugh
But
leaves.
I don't think that Kingsbury is a good fit for Michigan at all.
It's not a bad
He's not.
take.
Kingsbury ain't moving to Detroit. Let's just say that.
Ben Wexler joining the parade here. It says, I say the Giants hire a Grasso as a head coach. I'm all for that, but then I would have to hate him. I don't want to hate Grassos. I love the Grasso family. I don't want to have to despise him. Look how I turned my back on Gardner Minshew as soon as he got traded to the Eagles. I hate his guts now. Which offensive coordinator gets the head coaching job first, according to Brian Casey? Kellen Moore, Byron Leftwich. To me, I think that Jaguars job is ripe for Byron Leftwich to take that.
I think
if
Leftwich doesn't take the Jacksonville job, I think he becomes the next head coach of the Tampa Bay Bucks after Bruce Arians leaves. He's getting older. I think Arians is on his way out with Brady. I don't see that once that Brady era ends, I think that the Bruce Arians era probably ends as well. I think
that's going to be a fall from
maybe
grace for that
he's in
team.
his 70s, the early 70s. He's
hope
got to be one of the older coaches.
I know they're out there, the Tampa Bay fans, because obviously they're in Tampa, but like I know there's no Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans outside of Tampa, I can't say. Remember we were discussing that? How like the Cowboys fans are everywhere, right? The Giants fans are typically everywhere. The Packers, the Niners, the Raiders, they're everywhere. I don't think there's Buccaneers fans everywhere, so I hope that the people of Tampa are ready for that fall from grace, because once Brady leaves and Arians leaves and they do a complete shifty, forget it.
If they could keep the two linebackers and they could keep the pass rushers together, they'll have a nice corner.
They just gave Vea a 5-year deal.
It'll keep, but you don't know. They could have this. Who's their Kyle Trask? He could be the next guy.
I don't think he's even the backup at this point.
You're right. I don't think he is either.
Right. So I think it's not even right. Like it's not him, but it might even be Chase Daniel. All right. Like one of the journeyman.
Well,
backups.
I'm pretty sure the Bucks are well prepared for their fall from grace. It's not like they've been the most successful franchise in history.
Sam Grasso's a Bucks fan? I thought he was a Cowboys fan.
Are you messing with us?
That's Anthony Grasso.
How many Grassos are there, bro? Come on.
I've seen at least 5 in the chats in the last 2 weeks.
So, anyway, fine. There's
burners.
one Bucks fan, and Rodgers is apparently going to Tampa, according to Hawaii Mike. So anyway, we're off the tangent here. Let's get to the awards, because that's exactly what we want to talk about. We did spiral out of control here with the firing and removal of Joe Judge. Good luck to the Giants in their coaching search, and I mean that with no sincerity whatsoever. I hope you bring back Jason Garrett. But let's start it off. What did I say we're going to start off with? Offensive Rookie of the Year, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So we had the voting system. We told you about this. We told you that it was a point system. So if somebody ranked somebody as their number one guy, they would get 3 points. And again, 2 points, 1 point, right? Offensive Rookie of the Year was our only unanimous. Actually, no, correction. One of 2 unanimous votes. And it's funny because Vegas was back and forth with 2 guys the entire year. But I think as the year progressively went on and the Patriots started losing a couple games here and there.
The final month of the season.
The final month of the season was the
3
push.
or 4, and Mac struggled.
The winner of Offensive Player of the Year from Chop Sports, the panel has decided unanimously is Jamar Chase. And it's 100% Jamar Chase. The kid is an electric player. He's basically Jefferson all over again. I feel like he's just 1 year behind him now, if not on par with what Jefferson is.
Well, he just broke all Justin Jefferson's records.
Yeah,
he broke all the Cincinnati Bengals all-time receiving records. There's been some decent Hall of Fame receivers, or at least Hall of Fame caliber receivers in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw what he did against the Chiefs. They were literally just playing catch on the playground.
I lost my fantasy
and it was in the
NFL
in a big game. This duo in general, Burrow and Jamar Chase, you're going to see these guys, if they could stay together, which I think it's all signs point to them.
I mean, they're going to at least be together for 4 more years.
They played college ball together. They're real good friends. So you could clearly see this duo lasting, and they're going to challenge some real like talented duos, all-time numbers when it's all said and done, if they could keep things together, which I firmly believe they will.
I think so too.
But yeah, Jamar Chase did what you have to do as a receiver to take the award from a quarterback. Justin Jefferson did not win the award last year, and that was my main argument
Who
against
won Rookie of the Year last year offensive?
Justin Herbert.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Okay,
So
yeah, you're right.
that was my main case against Jamar Chase this year, and I've been saying that on and off all season long, is where it's like a receiver really has to come, I was just going to make a terrible reference, but he has to play really well.
I'm glad you stopped yourself.
Yeah, he has to play really, really well to overtake that award from a quarterback, and combine that with the fact that Mac Jones did stumble a little bit down the stretch, and that's what Jamar Chase did. He set all-time records that I don't see getting broken anytime soon. Until probably next year.
Bold statement coming from Baby Bro. Mini Rodgers-Adams connection. He thinks that Jamar Chase and Joey Burrow could be the new Rodgers and Adams. So, and I don't think that's that bold.
But here's the crazy part is that Devontae Adams didn't play. He was like he had drop issues. He was fumbling the ball he was like Amari Rodgers. Literally, he was a 3rd-round pick. I think he was a 3rd-round pick, maybe 2nd. But either way, he was it was just like it took him a while to get going in the league. And you're seeing what Jamar Chase is doing. He's a rookie, and Joe Burrow is like 22. It's not like these guys are.
And let's not forget, like, it's not just Jamar Chase. Like, T. Higgins, he's really good at
even
football
Tyler
too.
Boyd was a solid
solid
flex option
Right,
this year,
bro.
especially down the
That
stretch.
offense. Imagine if they get an actual like game-changing type tight end. And I know that Uzama has had himself a decent year. Uzama, whatever the hell you say.
See, I don't even think that they need one. I think that he's a perfect fit. He does all things well. He's a better receiver than he is blocker, but he's definitely on his way to becoming a complete tight end. And for that team, there's so many targets that it's like you really don't need another premier target that you're going to have to pay all that money to. I think let's just keep that core together. Tyler Boyd won't demand too much, but then you have enough on offense, and now put the money on the defensive side of the ball and protect the quarterback.
So O+ coming in, slow down. Burrow and Chase have not won anything yet, and that's fine.
I agree.
But they're about to end the drought of 25, 30
what we're
years.
allowed to do is we're allowed to predict and then notice that there's a premier talent in a situation where we might get to see a special thing happen for the next 10 years.
And it's funny,
not going out on a limb by saying that these guys are going to challenge some all-time records.
Toast just said it. They need protection, and they passed up on the best protection possible.
And I said
to get Jamar
remember
Chase.
I said that to you last week. I was like, you remember TBT, Throwback Thursday, to the day that the Bengals drafted Jamar Chase, and everyone and their mother was dragging them because Joe Burrow was coming off the knee injury, and they needed an offensive lineman. And maybe they were right. Who ended up getting picked after them? They could have picked Penei Sewell there.
Yes, they could have.
Right. So now Penei Sewell had a great year. Don't get me wrong.
He did.
Right. But
he's a monster.
But Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow can't throw 2,000 receiving yards to Penei Sewell. So I think it worked out, and they did end up getting a lineman in the 2nd round. Correct me if I'm wrong. Early in the 2nd round, so
they did.
Still
Their next pick.
Need.
They're
and
literally
started all
3rd
16
pick of the 2nd round.
I'm not sure about his injury situation, but they probably did well with that pick as well. He's probably going to be an NFL starter for quite a while.
And yes, Kyle Kerm's backing up Danny's thing. When Burrow and Chase just won the AFC North, one of the tougher divisions to win in this league. That's something. That is something. It's something to be said. And I understand that like people don't want to compare. You don't want to ever put anybody on a pedestal right away, but the proof is in the pudding this year. So let's just see if they can continue. Let's just see. All right. So now that we had offensive rookie of the year, we have our defensive rookie of the year, which again was unanimous. There was a couple votes, like 2nd place and 3rd place votes for other guys, but running away with this one, my guy from the Dallas Cowboys, linebacker / edge / everything else, Micah Parsons, wins your defensive rookie of the year for Chop Sports. Now look, we're not reinventing the wheel here. The kid had an unbelievable year. People were comparing him to Lawrence Taylor already. Like there's something to be said about that. People compared DeMarcus Ware to LT at one point, and it just didn't. It panned out to be a fantastic career.
That's the guy that pretty much any freak athlete that comes out of college gets compared to because he's the premier talent at that position in. Obviously, arguably the history of the league. Most people will say unanimously that LT is the best. He defined that position. He changed that position. He actually had the NFL create that position in some ways because no one was doing that before he was.
Yeah, this is like I said. This is not. There's not much for debate. I think I think Kyle actually put the best one in his votes. He said like Micah Parsons won. No debate.
No real debate here.
So, like,
I
you
agree.
vote for
I agree. I will give a couple other players some burn. Patrick Surtain had a really good year.
He did.
I'm going to give my boy some burn. Eric Stokes. He's nowhere near sniffing the defensive rookie of the year voting, but he had a good year. I'm happy about that.
You knew he had to throw
I had
back
to.
in that conversation.
And what I will do is I'm going to reserve my Micah Parsons comments for the later conversation because he's going to re-enter the chat.
He will re-enter the chat. So we go from the 2 unanimous rookies of the year to offensive player of the year. I think that's next. I have
comeback player of the year.
It's comeback player of the year. Okay, we'll divide up those.
You might as well just get it over with.
Yeah, that's what it's not a get over with.
Get the Bengals out of the fucking way.
Bengals have been in discussion with Jamar Chase, and now based off the voting, I'm looking at it now as far as comeback player of the year. Where is my other sheet? I can't find it. But anyway,
we
comeback
didn't write
player of the year.
down, I don't think.
You're right because it was so unanimous.
It was unanimous.
It's not unanimous, but it was somewhat unanimous, and it's Joey Burrow. He comes off the heels of a devastating injury, like 2nd place finish Dak Prescott did, and he led his team to win the AFC North, like Dak Prescott did with the NFC East. So this is very on par And it's going to be fantastic when they meet in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So it's going to be fun times in Dallas and in Cincinnati. No, on a real note,
I think it's close.
it is very close. I think
close.
I think Joe Burrow was more. It's weird. You know what did in Dak Prescott was the slump that they all said he was in, right? Where he couldn't perform. And there was a couple of games where he just looked like complete garbage. Joey Burrow never really had a game where
Burrow had interception issues.
Yeah,
he threw
fine,
some
but
pick
I'm saying-
sixes this year.
right. But I think bounce back plus the division he was in for Joe Burrow to battle the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Browns over Dak Prescott beating up on the Giants,
I think that the quality
Eagles,
of
and
wins that
Redskins,
Cincinnati had this year, and then going into Arrowhead, and beating the Chiefs in a comeback fashion, I think that's sealed.
That
it for him.
right. That's sealed. Like for in the same week,
He entered the MVP chat.
he
with
did.
that-
He
with that
actually,
game.
yeah. We'll talk about that in a second. He was in that chat, and that's again. He's not. I voted for Dak Prescott as comeback player of the year. I think here's the thing, and this is not to go off on a tangent for Dak Prescott.
Don't even pay attention to Ben's comments.
I'm not going to pay attention, or as she brings it up. I will say this. Now, with Dak Prescott, we're blurry as hell over on my end. I'm not sure.
Not mine.
Yeah, you're over there too. I don't know what happened there, but there's internet being ablazed right now. But in any event, the audio's there, and I know you guys can hear me when I say this. The Washington Commanders. Sorry, Danny, you're right. With Dak Prescott, it was more about more over the injury, right? It was more for Dak Prescott. It was the mental aspect. It was the people were calling his career over. You know, he came back out of nowhere, battled, like his brother committed suicide. There's a lot of things that Dak Prescott came back from, and it's not just an injury like Joe Burrow. That's why I gave my nod to a guy like Dak Prescott. I don't know what's going on with the internet or whatever, but it is what it is at this point. Are you seeing it over there too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't seem blurry at all. You do on mine.
oh, it's completely
Actually saying in the comments. Too.
Yeah. Everybody's blurry right now, and I can't understand why at this moment. But in any event, so again, audio-wise, I know you guys can hear the sounds of our voices. We have turned into radio at this point. But Dak Prescott was my vote, and it didn't pan out for him. So Joe Burrow gets comeback player of the year. Congratulations to him.
It's cleaning up a little bit.
It is cleaning up a little bit as we go.
Are you
So in any
downloading
event,
porn over there?
say what?
So is he downloading porn over
Are you,
there?
yeah, what are you doing over there on the internet, bro? Shut your goddamn Wi-Fi off, dude. You're ruining the show. I'm kidding. It's been a thing for months, so it ain't you. Trust me. Just don't kick any cameras today. You know what I'm saying?
Poor guy.
Gooch told me as you left. Tell me if I'm right, or if you can tell me. Was when you kicked the camera, and did I give you like a death stare? Ah,
He's
damn! He said a
scary
little
at
bit.
first, right?
Holy shit! I did
You'll
not
get
mean to
used
do
to
that.
I was like,
He's
you
not
kicked
really
the camera, and
scary.
it couldn't have been mine for the kids' sake, because I would have been like, oh no, it's fine, dude. Don't worry about it.
That's
Kick
not-
it again.
He used to make me nervous when I first came in here.
I mean, I was never. First of all,
I don't think that he was annoyed at you. He's just very
Particular.
particular.
I mean, look,
We'll call
the
it
stream
particular.
went blurry, and I'm sweating right now. I'm absolutely drenched in
Losing
sweat
his
as soon
mind.
as that happened. But in any event, we're back, right? It looks
We're good.
okay now.
We're
Okay.
good.
So let's call Optimum. What's that chick's name that came in here? Like, if you need anything, just call me. Like, okay, well, here comes a call today. In any event,
That's going to cost us $50 more a
right,
month.
just to get her to come out, right? In any event, Joe LaCorey coming in. It's very impressive that he did that. Just didn't perform as well as Joey B. That's where I think, again, in performance on the field, that's what you also have to contribute this heavy. I would give it to Joe Burrow, and I completely agree. Dave is basically a sociopath, is what you're saying. Are you saying? I'm a
Don't get me
sociopath?
started
He
on
has
this whole
feelings.
thing.
He's-
Of course,
I
who
feel
has
like
feelings?
You're not a sociopath.
Sociopaths don't have
everybody
feelings?
is a
I don't know what that
sociopath.
is.
It's just subjective and it's situational. It depends on how you're being one, but everyone is one in one way, shape, or form.
I believe you over anybody else, Gooch. In any event, so let's go back to the skill position awards, and we start with Offensive Player of the Year. Is that right, Dina?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Offensive Player of the Year was also very, very close. Okay, remember, the best score you could possibly get is 18 points, meaning 6 of us with a 3-point swing. That's your 18 points. With 16 points over 14 points, so it was a 2-point difference. The winner of Offensive Player of the Year for Chop Sports is Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp gets it done.
Woo.
I think that's kid. He actually had a couple MVP votes. He ran away with the Offensive Player of the Year. Right behind him, Jonathan Taylor. So with 14 points. So people were on the Taylor train as well. But Cooper Kupp did a lot of beautiful things for those Rams today, this year in particular. I mean, there's no. Do you have an argument for this one, or
no? I was saying that it was like week 10, and I was like, I'm still not putting Cooper Kupp in my top 5. And then I've egg in my face on that one because he's clearly a top 5 receiver. I will put him in the top 3. I don't know. I'll put him over Hopkins on sheer, like he's setting NFL records this year. I get the extra game, this, that, the other thing. I mean, take the game away, fine. He's still a top 3 receiver in the league.
Right.
And arguably that with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson are there in the top 5 as well. I know it's a little early for all of that, but these guys are balling out. And Cooper Kupp, he plays the slot. He plays on the outside. He plays in the backfield. I'm sure he throws the ball for them. He has touchdown passes. So you look at what he's doing for them. They lost Robert Woods. You would think that maybe he would get a little bit. They did sign Odell, so I guess that kind of picked up for the Robert Woods situation. But yeah, regardless of the situation, you could say they got Stafford. Cooper Kupp did NFL all-time numbers this year, so he's
other
not the
votes.
MVP.
I do want to shout out other votes based off the panel. There were votes for Joe Burrow to be Offensive Player of the Year. There were votes for Deebo Samuel to be Offensive Player of the Year. He ranked on somebody's tally, and of course, there was also a vote which didn't really agree with this one. Justin Herbert got a vote for Offensive Player of the Year. So
who?
Not a vote, number 1 vote. He was on the top 3.
No, I know, but who?
Who did it?
Yeah.
I believe it was Scoop.
Scoop, you're fired.
Carl has a question. Are quarterbacks eliminated from Offensive Player of the Year containing I don't think I've ever seen anybody win both.
Well, a quarterback will not win. No. There's definitely not been one.
No.
But Drew Brees has won Offensive Player of the Year when another quarterback has won MVP. So I think that's what he's asking. I don't think that is. Are you going to see a guy win Player of the Year and MVP? I don't think that you're seeing that.
Got you.
I do think that it doesn't eliminate all other quarterbacks from the conversation once a quarterback wins, though.
Oh, all right. Sorry, Scoop. He didn't have Burrow. Watch him. I didn't say Burrow. I said Herbert. So somebody had Herbert in their rankings, and whether it be any of you guys, it doesn't matter at this point. But Deebo Samuel did get a vote, or at least some looks. Now, here's the most heaviest debated one right now, and this is going to be left up to the comments to determine who's going to win this award, because there was a tie with 11 points each for Defensive Player of the Year. It's TJ Watt and it's Micah Parsons. Now, right now, put out the first 5 comments that are going to come out are going to determine who wins this award. Okay, because
you were eliminated from this voting if you had an actual vote on the panel.
Correct. So it can't be Scoop or Kyle or anybody like that. So the first 5 comments that we see will determine who wins this. So Watt gets one from Janine, Parsons from my brother. So that's what's 1-1 already. We're going to game 3 here. Parsons from Kyle Kerr. No, Kyle does not count. Kyle, God damn it. All right. Parsons from Mike. So that's it. That's 3. That's all you need, right?
No.
Yes.
Kyle is
Unless
2.
they tie again.
No. Watt from the Toast. For the love of God.
Where do you
Brian
see
Casey,
3?
Watt, fine. But no, I think you got to scroll up now, Dina. You got to scroll up now, because now
Parsons
I have to know.
from Danny.
Everybody pause.
Everybody pause at the comments for like a half a second. So I think it started with Danny at Parsons.
Parsons won.
Okay.
Janine with Watt.
Okay.
Carl with Watt.
Okay.
It's Brian Casey with Watt.
Sam Grasso with Watt.
That was in order?
Yeah, these are in order.
Oh, that's it then. All right. So then Micah Parsons will not be winning Defensive Player of the Year according to Chop Sports.
Guess what?
This one's going to TJ Watt.
I feel like this one's actually going to go to Aaron Donald. I know
that is going to be such.
I know that I don't know that he does deserve it, but I don't know that he doesn't, because it's really like you can't make a case against Aaron Donald other than the fact that some other guys have better counting stats than him. Right. So it's like you look at the TJ Watt sack numbers, then you look at
is that the only reason why he's getting this?
You see what Myles Garrett did. He just wrecked certain games. If it wasn't for but these teams, they all these players have something really, really bad going against him. Like there's a strong case to be made against each of these guys. TJ Watt,
Vaught, you don't get a vote.
Vaught came in, voted for Vorongig.
But TJ Watt, they have the 32nd ranked run defense in the league. It's, as Kyle would say, a billion times yesterday.
Now, well, Kyle just put in the comments, he didn't have any of these 2 on his list. His big vote and his big gripe was for Trayvon Diggs to win Defensive Player of the Year. Now, look, there's something to be said about that because of the interception numbers, but then it gets knocked the hell down when it comes to how many yards this guy let up.
I think if you're going to pick a guy off the Cowboys defense that made everything click and made everything change for them, it's Parsons. And I don't think it's a debate. As good as Diggs has been, it's a lot of, I compare him to the Allen Iverson of corners where he's, no risk it for a biscuit. He's going to gamble, and it pays off for him in a lot of situations, but you obviously see him give up big totals. And because he gives up big totals, teams are throwing at him. And what Kyle said yesterday does have some truth to it about the way they kind of force the ball that way by pressuring against, I don't know. I guess I don't watch enough film on the Cowboys to really say, but I would imagine that the pressure is coming from Parsons 9 times out of 10. So Parsons is the guy that's starting everything up front for them. You see him making tackles 50 yards downfield. You see him making tackles 5 yards in the backfield on back-to-back plays. So he's doing everything. It's Parsons for Dallas, and it's not close to me.
Mike's coming in with some analytics. 45% of passes given up by Diggs resulted in a touchdown or a first down. That's alarming. But again, for 11 picks, do that percentage. How many throws were at him completely? And if you're up in the 5, 6, 7% range of balls thrown your way that you came down with, I mean, that's another big stat. Danny with the comment of the year, by the way, he said Vor on ONG, which is what Vought said in English, is Micah Parsons. So he's giving another vote for Micah Parsons. But wow, there's another. Who was that? Tampa. Wow. I mean, look, we're making waves over here.
Voting
folks.
is closed, Vought.
Yeah, the voting is closed. It's all over. But yes, so I want to say that this one's a little skewed. I don't believe in the fact that you should be giving a guy an award based off of tying a sack record. I think overall body of work, Micah Parsons was the better player. He's playing linebacker, he's playing edge. I saw him at safety a couple times.
Just to make a couple points to strengthen TJ Watt's case, though. Mm-hmm. You're right. I mean, like I wouldn't give it to TJ Watt over Parsons. I just don't think that as much as it's an individual award, we all know in the way the NFL works is that none of these awards are individual awards. Team success absolutely matters in these votings. TJ Watt, solo tackles, 31, tied for 13th. Now, I don't imagine that that's 13th in the league because there's some linebackers that are just having that in 2 games, right? So, no, that's not happening.
So Hawaii might come in at 36% for 15 yards or more. All right, so do interceptions to total targets.
Okay,
not plays and snaps.
Sacks 21st. He was tied for 3rd with 5 fumbles forced, and he led the NFL in tackles for loss. So it's not like TJ Watt is a one-trick pony as much as people want to say he's just a pass rusher. He's playing football, 3 downs.
At the end of the day,
but the defense gave up the most rushing yards in the NFL. I think yards per carry. It's hard for me to go. You never see that on a Ray Lewis defense. You're never going to see that on certain other defenses with guys that like Aaron Donald, even though they've been kind of soft against the run this year.
So amazing. Mike's coming in saying Jair Alexander is clamps. I mean, yeah, we agree when he's on the field. The guy missed half the season, if not more than that. So,
but he'll be back Sunday or next Sunday.
Kyle coming in. How can the defensive player of the year be a Steeler on a year that Pittsburgh had historically bad defense? Like you just said it, Gooch. You said team success and effort shouldn't go into this. You're already on Parsons.
You have my guys written down, my 3?
Yeah. You have
is TJ Watt on there?
DJ, defensive rookie of the year. You have Parsons, Surtain.
No, this is
defensive player of the year. Sorry. Garrett, Parsons, Donald. You don't have TJ Watt written down.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't really believe that Myles Garrett is the guy either. It's just that I don't really think any of them are. It's the one that I'm completely lost on. So my default would be I think Aaron Donald's going to win it because I think that the top guys, there's an argument against all of them, and there's really not one against Donald.
That is fantastic. All right, I'm glad you came up with that, Hawaii Mike. 11% of the balls that are thrown to you are resulted in a pick. That's amazing. If you think about it, 11% of all the balls. So for every 10 throws, you're picking one of them off.
I think that's
incredible.
I do think that's a really, really good percentage,
right?
At first glance, I don't know how good the percentage is all time in terms of like how he would rank against other guys. Because I know some corners just like there's like really low target totals on some corners in history. Like I think Asamoah got targeted like 5 times one year.
11
like guys just don't throw their way.
Diggs has been targeted 96 times. He picked off 11 of them. That's incredible.
Now, like I said,
but then he's all 45%. Like I get it. That's why he's not going to win Defensive Player of the Year because for as amazing as that stat is, yes, the ones that he did give up are big chunk plays. There's no argument to be made there. That's it. That's case closed. That's why he's not in that conversation because of the yards given up. I get it. But I'm just saying 11%, that's pretty goddamn good.
Look,
in any event.
To sit here and I don't know what we're arguing here. Like, are we arguing that Trayvon Diggs is a good corner? I don't think that anybody is able to argue that. I will 100% die on the hill that he is not the defensive player of the year. And that's what I'll say to Kyle.
Based off of what we just talked about. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Let's go. What do we got? Coach of the year next? Coach of the year. So this was actually very, very landslidey. Did I just do that again? Landslidey?
Sure
Is that
did.
just as bad as ski?
Yep.
All right, another dadism there on the
We're
check
gonna
mark.
start a jar.
Instead of swearing, just every time you do a dadism, you put $1. All right, so this one's a runaway, according to all the votes and the points. The winner of Coach of the Year, the Bengals are cleaning up. It is Zach Taylor is the Coach of the Year on Chop Sports, based off of all the votes. LaFleur got one first place vote, and that came from Gooch. McCarthy got one first place vote. That came from me.
Dave should get fucking fired from the voting.
Yeah,
process.
I know. Going from 6-10 to 12-5 sucks. I know. Terrible. And winning the division by 3 games. Awful coach.
Bill Belichick, the
Outta
final week of this, the final month of the season, Bill Belichick went 1-3.
Yeah, Belichick lost his case at the end
Everybody
of the
is hanging their hat on the fact that he ran the ball 91 times and won the game. And I agree. Bill Belichick did a great job this year, but when it came down to it, they had a lot of things within reach. They had the 1 seed within reach. They had the division title within reach, and they screwed the pooch on all of it. They lost 3 of their last 4. So I think Bill Belichick, as great of a coach as he is, he eliminated himself from Coach of the Year contention.
There was a vote for Ralph Bisaccia or Rich Bisaccia, whatever we're talking about as far as his name, Rich. And then O Plus says the Raiders interim coach. So that there is something to be said about that. That team was in shambles when Gruden left town, when Ruggs was starting to hit people with cars. They were in shambles. He turned that team around. And I said that from jump. I said, this guy's a great players coach. They're going to respond to him, and now they're in the playoffs. Whether how far they go, that's another story.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to.
Kyle Kerm's coming in, Pro Football Focus, PFF, which, by the way, to me has lost a lot of credibility over the years. Doesn't incorporate double teams, circle coverages. They said they hope to have added that for next season. Defensive back ratings on PFF are meaningless. I agree. All of their ratings are actually meaningless because they have ranked and rated some of these people over the course of this season alone, and I scratch my head and everybody retweets. There's something called ratio on Twitter. When you're commented more than you're retweeted, that means people are disagreeing with you. That's called ratio. There was a lot of disagreements for PFF the entire fucking season, bro. It was insane. Brian Flores. Wow. Brian Casey makes coach of the year gets fired. Now,
I mean, I'm not giving Coach of the Year to anybody that he also lost 7 in a row.
He also won the back 9.
I agree. He won 8 of the last 9 games, but I
just call the back 9 because I felt like it was a good golf reference.
Lost 7 in a row. Good coach, not Coach of the Year. I think it was a 2-man race, and I think LaFleur is going to win the actual award.
All right,
so Zach Taylor.
So Brandon Taylor coming in. Put that one back up. Sirianni went from 4-11-1 to a playoff team. The Cowboys went from 6-10 to a NFC East champion. So if you're going to put Sirianni in there, you got to put McCarthy in there. I'm sorry.
Well,
that's the way
you can't put 5 guys in a one. Like one guy's going to win it.
No, I understand.
There's some real good candidates at the top. If it comes down to the 3 guys, I think it's between Zach Taylor, Mike Vrabel, and Matt LaFleur.
Vrabel did get he didn't get enough. I mean, he has 6, 7. Second place votes was Mike Vrabel. Like he was next closest guy. I mean, he did it without.
I think that everybody is not voting for LaFleur because they want to see my reaction. I think there's a little shred of that coming from the panel. At least that's what I'm hoping. Because otherwise, we're going to have to look for a new
because
panel.
Of the record, just straight up 13 wins.
Yes, he has 13 wins. That's one. The 1 seed in the NFC, which I think when you looked at the NFC this year going into the year, I know that the Packers were defending NFC losers in the championship game back-to-back years. But the fact that going into the year, the whole COVID protocol, the fact that Aaron Rodgers was either A, the quarterback, or B, not, the GM
was 1 game. McCarthy did it with Cooper Rush. You did it with Jordan Love. And you lost that.
You're missing the point. I don't think you understood what I was going with this.
Maybe not.
I'm talking about the offseason.
Oh, sorry.
Leading into the offseason, like not having the starting quarterback there for OTAs or whatever the hell that Aaron Rodgers missed all year. I agree. But the media made a shitstorm of all of that, right? And so dealing with that media,
it was our content for 3 months.
Agreed,
right?
100%.
Yeah,
I guess it worked out because he was going to win the MVP. They're going to win the Super Bowl, but then you combine the fact that there was no Bakhtiari, right? They lost Jair Alexander and Zadarius Smith right away, so they're 2 best defenders from last year right away. And they have Rasul Butler come in, stopgap, maybe Gutekunst that gets GM of the year.
Well, here's coming from Mike. Packers coach had so many weapons. I'd rather vote for a coach that had less talent and still won more games.
You could say that. I think that
Taylor with all that offense. I mean, like damn good
too. Weapons over there as well. That's what I'm saying. At. So it's like, yeah, but then you look at the offensive line situation for the Packers. They lost 4 starters on the offensive line, and they've been out all year. It's not like they just lost a guy here for a couple of games. They lost their entire offensive line. There's 3 rookies that played 10 games or more on the Packers.
Vrabel did have 2 first place votes, and it came from AJ and Kyle. The rest went to I guess mine's wasted with a first place
AJ also voted.
We'll get into that in a second. But yeah, I had McCarthy. This guy had LaFleur. There was one for Bill Belichick. So that's why there wasn't a win there for Vrabel. Great season. No Henry. That's amazing. Ryan Tannehill, at the end of the day, is still Ryan Tannehill. There was times where I'm just like, God damn, this guy can't play. You know what I mean? But there was times he was a magician. So it is what it is. So there's one more, right? Is that right, Dina? One more?
Yep.
Okay. So this is the grand finale of them all. And it was not unanimous, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I will bring up. But the MVP for Chop Sports will send him a $25 gift card. He might not use it. He might give it to his boy Joe Rogan or his boy Pat McAfee. It is Aaron Rodgers is the MVP. It was clear cut. There was no unanimous vote here. AJ voted for Jonathan Taylor to not give Aaron Rodgers unanimous across the board. I was on the Cup train for a little while.
Out of all of the votes cast in all of the awards given, Jonathan Taylor winning MVP is hands down far and away the worst one. Not even
Way
close.
to waste a vote. AJ.
Not even
so
close.
You say it's a wasted vote.
It's not even close. And it's honestly, we're going to call AJ's, I know I've called every single panel member into question, but AJ, this is egregious, bro. This is egregious. I said to you, I feel like Zach Taylor has the chance to win the Coach of the Year in reality, right? But I do think LaFleur does deserve it. This is not close. I mean, come on. What are you, Hub Arkush, the Chicago beat writer? That
bum.
Are you that guy?
Are you
AJ?
a bum there, dude?
On.
Oof, I don't know, man.
It's just not. It's not a debate. And Jonathan Taylor is who AJ voted for, right? So Jonathan Taylor is now sitting on the outside looking in, and we've all discussed this. How many NFL MVPs have not made the postseason in history? I don't know offhand, but I would imagine either A, 0, or B, not many.
That's a Hawaii Mike
Not
thing
many.
if you want to get on that. But I would bet a lot of money that there's been no MVPs that have not made
And
the postseason.
if you're going to go with a guy that's not playing quarterback, it's Cooper Kupp, and it's not close.
I agree there too. However, I don't know, man, because look, the Rams had, I guess they added Beckham at the end, but they did have a decent offense outside of Cooper Kupp. Robert Woods went down late in the season. They did have Van Jefferson coming on. So that I feel like they had a decent offense without Cooper Kupp. If Jonathan Taylor was taken off the Colts, they would lose half of the games they won. That's what makes me think that, like, most valuable player, I would definitely give it over that. What are you laughing at? What is
and Kyle's bringing up a good point too. If a team has an MVP at quarterback, then does that eliminate the coach from Coach of the Year because he has the MVP playing?
That's another.
Now, I
point.
mean, then does that eliminate Micah Parsons because Trayvon Diggs is also, like you can make the point. We've heard this at case in baseball, but I'm making a point. Is like if you have 2 defensive players that are up for Defensive Player of the Year, doesn't that kind of take away?
Oh yeah, one's negated.
It negates it.
One's
so
negated,
I agree. But I will say this: I could guarantee you this. Now I know that there might not have been many MVPs that have not made the postseason, if any. I could almost guarantee you that there has been Coach of the Years with MVPs.
Well, OJ, the Juice, did it in '73. And Unitas did it in 65. They won MVP, and their team did not make the postseason. 2 out of
50 years ago.
50-something.
The last one was 49 years ago.
That's incredible.
48 years ago. So, no, it
Steelers,
doesn't
0-5 when TJ Watt didn't play. So that's another case.
He didn't miss 5 games this year.
I guess he did. Yeah.
No, he had 22 sacks. What did he play?
Yeah, wait a minute. Hold on. Ken, I love you, buddy, but that might not be accurate because – you're right. That would average 17 games, 12 games.
He played 15 games.
He missed
2 games. And I think he missed a better part of the game he hurt his groin in as well.
Okay.
So I think he missed the entire Bengals game, first one.
Yes, I don't know if that's accurate at all. There's no way he missed that many games. But in any event, like I said, I think, yes, if he missed 97% of one game, I guess you can consider that almost like a loss. Played in parts of a couple. So that's what Ken Paulman's back in his comments up with. So, in any event, those are the Chop Sports end of the season NFL awards. The voters, thank you to the voters, except for AJ, apparently, who ruined Gooch's day by not voting for Aaron Rodgers.
Nothing but love for AJ, but me and you got to have a chat about that one, bro.
So amazing. NJ, my guy, Mike Mercado, saying this show way better than watching ESPN. Listen, I'm
I
not about to
second
toot
that.
our own horn here, but toot mother effing toot, because I'm telling you right now, at least, and we said this yesterday, and I'll reiterate this to the people that are watching right now, which, by the way, if you're watching right now, please like, subscribe. We're 10 away from 500. That's going to grow, obviously. But we said it yesterday. I think there's something to be said about being an interactive podcast or a show where we can actually interact with every single person. How many times do you watch the TV and you look at Skip and Shannon and you're like, you're a moron. You're a moron. It's this. Or you listen to Max Kellerman pretend he knows sports and he's like, you're an idiot. Here's what my opinion is. We're giving you the platform, ladies and gentlemen, to chime in, bring your name up on screen, get yourself a little notoriety, right? And I think that's different. That's what makes Chop Sports a little different. When we first came up with this business, we called this Chop Sports an interactive sports community. That's what we're all about here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I do agree. That's what
separates
we do
us.
differently. That's what separates us from the rest.
Yeah, and I really do appreciate everybody coming in each and every day. Whether it be, again, I know sometimes schedules don't add up, but the beauty part about YouTube is, you can watch it whenever. You can rewind. The link will always be in the Facebook group, on my Twitter, on our Instagram. Those links are available. Then the video becomes actually available to consume the next day, which it dates it a little bit, but the link is there for you to grab at any point today. So
when you say that, like, I'm able to watch on our YouTube page right away.
But if you go to the YouTube, if you search us on YouTube, it's not there. I don't think it's there until the next day.
I mean,
there's a link for people to watch, which is there.
We'll talk in about 20 minutes after I show you what I do.
I can't wait for you to show me that I'm wrong, because I love the fact that we're live, interactive, up to date. Tomorrow, what's tomorrow? Thursday.
Real quick.
What's
so
up?
you're saying that we only get views from the link.
Yeah.
Well, I can go in.
I disagree with that.
I go
No,
into
until
Chop
the next day.
Sports.
No, because I see the views go up. And
I go and watch it
people
right
that are,
after I
and I'm
leave
looking
here. I
at the
don't use the link.
analytics.
Oh,
and
yeah?
it's-
Yeah.
Well, no, you use the link.
No.
No, because
just
you
go
can
straight to
see
your
where they're
YouTube page.
actually getting the video from.
I've
when
never
you go
been
into the
happier to be
analytics.
wrong.
Yeah,
It's okay. I'm cool with
yeah.
that.
So that's why I was talking to you about. I think we could get today's episode on the website today. We should talk shop after. Thank you guys for watching and listening and tuning in
Are you
daily.
closing the show?
No, I'm just moving on.
Like,
But yeah,
this
we
is
can
great.
close it.
He's just being grateful.
Yes.
I
Okay.
don't want to close the show because I usually have a soft close, and I feel like that's my element.
That is
on
your
the
element
close.
of the show. But yeah, so everybody, listen, not for nothing, we are represented in multiple states across the U.S.
Not only are we in the continental U.S., we have representation in this chat. I add you in Hawaii and Alaska. So the
In Canada.
50th and the 49th state of the United States. And by the way, there's only 50.
Don't forget Canada.
And we had Canada representation the other day. So like, we are making moves. We're
I
trying.
almost made a terrible joke.
We also, I know,
Ah.
I almost agreed with your joke in my head, and you didn't even make it. So that's kind of crazy. It's like we finished each other's. Oh shit!
Sandwiches?
He wasn't even there for it.
I
I laid it up, and he wasn't even.
Right.
there.
I was reading the
What?
as she said, I'm a king. I think she's talking about
She says
me.
it like 3 times in every chat.
Or either me or LaFleur.
I think it's LaFleur. I'll
Yeah.
give it to LaFleur. LaFleur. That is the dodgeball reference. But anyway, yeah, Alaska confirmed. Colonia is everywhere. Yes, we do know that we have to get out of Colonia, folks. Okay, I'm a Woodbridge guy. I got a Woodbridge wrestling match to call tonight at Woodbridge High School. So represent, man. Where are my Barons at? I mean, it's.
They have a chance tonight because they're not wrestling Colonia.
First of all, they beat the brakes off the team in my first outing. They crushed. I think it was like 64-2 or something like that. Like a ridiculous. Everybody won their match. I think we lost once. So Woodbridge Wrestling's on the
but
rise.
you know who
as
it
well.
wasn't against?
Colonia.
Colonia.
Yes, I'm aware. So anyway, North Jersey represented. Ashley's like a nomad now. She's been everywhere.
She literally lives in Matawan and Kearney.
Yeah. So
And
Kearney.
kind of Hazlitt and Philly. And
Shout out to Kearney. I lived in
Shout
Kearney
out
for the
Tinton
first year
Falls.
of my life. Tinton Falls is where these guys are with the sauce. And that entire fan base. I said
AJ
fan
wants to
base.
change his MVP pick to Donovan Peoples-Jones.
AJ, you've already been canceled.
is
South
solid.
Brunswick via Colonia. Danny says Woodbridge. That's not true at all. Unless he's watching from physical therapy. Danny is also. We're Fords people. I know there's not a lot of Fords
I think he's just
people. out there.
repping Woodbridge High.
Yes.
like his-
Yes, Woodbridge High. Which again, I didn't even really like high school until like senior year. The first 3 years were quite
See,
rough.
I liked high school until about mid-junior year, senior year. And then I was like, I'm over all this. Get me out.
Yeah. So in any event, thank you guys for repping us everywhere. Spread the wealth, spread the word. Tell everybody about us that you watch this every day at 11. There's ways to support us. Obviously, we talked about Patreon. There's a big way to support us here to help us grow. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We do got Anthony now as our new intern. He's already kicking ass over here as far as the content goes. He's still probably editing Tommy D's
he's on the
gibberish.
third paragraph.
And he's nodding his head. He's like, "Yep, this guy's an idiot." So Tommy D, shout out to the blog and the effort. We appreciate that as well. We're going to be upping everything now that we have some help here, and Dina's joined the crew, and obviously we got Kyle and AJ on board, and Toast is going to come like very, very strong in baseball season. I can't wait for his analytics in baseball season. Damn it. I try to get by it without saying pause, but of course your perverted ass had to say something. Anyway, first Sturch, Gooch, Anthony the intern, Pick Bish Dina the producer. We'll see you guys tomorrow on another episode of the Chop Sports Daily. Tell your friends.
Scoop's comment. I got to put it up not because I agree with it, but because it's funny. Who would have thought? Who would have thought, Scoop?
Who would have thought you get toasted in the parking lot years later?
By your idol.